My name is Kanyon Walker. I'm a 17-year-old event rider from Leesburg, Florida. I started riding when I was about 6 years old. It was supposed to just be a birthday present gone wrong kind of a thing, so I've just started doing every week, and then from there, got my own horse when I was 13, bought him myself, which that was a very interesting way of seeing how the money side of horses comes into it, of earning my own keep and making sure I could pay the bills kind of thing. But just in all, horses have been great. They really have given me a side into, the economic side of seeing how much my parents sacrifice for this sport, and then also hard work every day.
So he always really loved horses, even as a toddler. Like, I would have to pull over on the side of the road to look at them in fields, and he would get very excited and that kind of thing. I always wanted to touch them. Sheldon and I don't ride, and so I was ignorant to the fact that no place will give a 6-year-old a trail ride. I guess it's like a big liability thing and stuff, so I called everything in our area to Disney, everything, no trail rides. So I found a lady who finally said, well, I won't give him a trail ride, but I would do a lesson. And I said, well, what would that mean? And she said, well, I would let him groom the horse, and then he would get a little ride, and he could take care of the horse, that kind of thing. So I thought he would like that. So that was the first thing, is we signed him up for a lesson. Eventing is a big sport in the United States Pony Club. So that's how he got introduced to eventing, and a friend who was having him ride her ponies and teaching him about this sport. Some of the challenges are, for a regular family that works a lot of time is devoted to this sport, and so it requires the effort of the whole family to pitch in, honestly. Like, I don't know how we would do it if we didn't all work at it together. And plus, he's had a lot of support from folks who knew more than we did. He didn't have the benefit of parents who knew much of anything about this, and so he's had some really good guidance. His coach, Jennifer Holling, and we happily got introduced to her very early in this sport, and she has pretty much led us by the nose where we need to go from there. So he's had a lot of really good influences, and a lot of folks, if you're willing to work, these people will allow you to work and earn your way. And so it's just really a willingness to work that you need. As long as you'll work, they'll have you, and they're happy to have you. So
Kanyon has always been a competitor, and so he's fed by winning, and he likes to win, so it's not hard work to him. The dedication is not difficult for him, because it feeds his need to win, and that comes very naturally to him. Patience with the training program and understanding the steps of what we do in our sport of eventing is tough for him, because he's still learning how to he's still learning about our sport at the upper levels. There are 3 phases to our sport in eventing. There is dressage, cross country, and stadium jumping. They all take the same amount of time to learn as a discipline, and then we have to put them all together on the day. He's very naturally talented in all of those things, and so it's learning the intricacies of each one, and that's where I come in. Asking him to work hard, he thinks that's funny, because it's not hard for him. He doesn't consider it hard. When people tell him how dedicated he is and how much of a hard worker he is, he doesn't really know what they're talking about, because it's very natural for him to do. And his family supports that, because they're hardworking. He comes from hardworking people who get up and strive for their goals. He manages to balance his horses and his football. It's tough, because sometimes they contradict each other. The body mass he needs for football goes against the body mass that he needs for riding. And so that's a balancing act that the family helps us to be able to do, and Kanyon does that well. And he's just obviously a talented athlete, so he brings that to the table. When I send him out on course, I never have to worry about him. I never have to worry that he can't think. He can think when he competes, because competing is natural for him.
Kanyon spends countless hours just working. Before you can ever get on a horse, there's work to be done. The way his morning starts is the exact same way his morning ends, whether it be mucking the stall, 5 a.m. in the morning. It's just him and his horse and his thoughts. And from there, he's off to high school. He's taking some college classes right now, then to football training, which is another one of his passions. And then from there, he's back to his horse training his horse training them. Kane and Durango are just such a great match. And all of those things that he's been able to accomplish has been on the back of that horse. One of the greatest blessings you could ever have is to have a child who blesses you beyond your reach. I've had the opportunity to go to places and sit at barns and meet people that would never have asked me to be a part of their world. But because of my son and because of his ability to ride and just a young man that he is, those opportunities have come to pass. So it is so cool to be just Kanyon's dad. But with this sport, there's a lot of financial needs involved in it. You know, we're constantly doing our very best as parents, my wife and I, but there's a lot that needs to happen for him to grow. He has tremendous vision for his future. He would love to be an Olympian, but before he can become that, there's a lot of steps to take. There's such a need. So we're reaching out to all of the folks that we know and to corporate sponsors to take this young man's dream and his vision for his future to make it real.